Thank you very much for joining me. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. Several named systems out there. Of course, historic Helene. It is historic because it is going to be a storm some folks have not seen in their lifetime, and that has not been on record, especially as you get up toward parts of Florida and Georgia. So we'll get into that. But I want to touch upon Isaac. Isaac formed. I thought that was going to become Isaac first. It was this little spot up here that grabbed the next name. But this here looks to become Joyce. So that's three name systems, or the potential of that. And then a fourth one on the eastern Pacific side. This has been also a crazy storm. This is now Hurricane John once again. It was a tropical storm. It moved inland, back over water, redeveloped into a hurricane. Super active out there. It is the peak of the hurricane season, so that is normal. But again, a lot going on. And then this here, I've been watching us through Guadalupe, Dominica, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis. It's been so unsettled. This is not organizing, but I want to get into our forecast with our rain and storms across the Caribbean. Now, when you see a hurricane and you see this white shading here, those are the taller clouds. Of course, taller clouds, more wind, more rain in them, right? What I've been noting on the satellite presentation is similar to what happened in the Caribbean for us with Hurricane Beryl. This kind of kidney bean shape is wrapping around the center. That's a sign it is rapidly intensifying. When I see that wrapping around, it doesn't allow dry air to get into the center. It wraps around the center and it will allow it to strengthen further. No dry air is going to be sneaking into this as this lifts up toward the Tallahassee area with the potential of a lot of damage. So thinking of our friends up here, and then because it's going to speed up, forward speed upwards of 30 miles per hour after it makes landfall, it doesn't have a lot of time to lose strength, right? So it's still going to be a hurricane in central Georgia tomorrow morning. By about 9 in the morning, it is going to be in Atlanta, Georgia, as still a tropical storm. That is historic for them, plus all of that rain, parts of Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, wide range of impacts. And again, we are all thinking of you. A lot of us have dealt with very bad hurricanes, and this is no exception. It is on track. Yeah, some wobbles west, wobbles east, but overall, very much on track. Has been watching all the computer models, but I don't just look at the computer models, look at what's going on in the environment. That's more important. And again, it is staying on track. So it should become a Category 3 hurricane very soon. Models not all showing that. It may even become a Category 4 hurricane because it's looking that way, or it's looking like a Category 3 hurricane now. Those are winds of 111 or higher. Looks to make landfall with some gusts that could get as high as 150 miles per hour. If it's a Category 3, there's going to be some gusts 140 to about 150. That is a potential with this as this moves in. And by the way, this is Hurricane John right there going into a different direction than it did last time. Now, this here, Helene, will make landfall near Tallahassee by about 8, 9, 10 o'clock tonight, give or take an hour or two. Tons of rain out ahead of it. And then the wind, obviously the huge issue, riding right through Georgia. But the rain, a big part of that as well, with that flooding and the river flooding. And that's why I mentioned places like Tennessee, even Kentucky, over toward Virginia getting some rain. But this here is kind of what's left of John. Just this area here in South Carolina, this is tomorrow at 2 o'clock, still dealing with some rain, over 30 inches of rain. So again, a couple areas of historic proportions as far as storms go. And I don't want to blow that out of proportion, right? When I use the word historic, it's just on record, and the records don't go back too terribly far. But on record, there hasn't been anything really in the way of this over toward, there's been huge storms, about 30 inches plus in southern Mexico. And to see something with such powerful winds getting so far inland over toward the southeast U.S. And you see the big wind field on this, but that core of winds, that's what the big tree canopy in here. So that's going to down some trees across the Caribbean, parts of Florida. As we swing back toward the Bahamas, the trees can handle some winds to a degree, but the trees up here are a little bit different. So they're going to have down trees, no doubt, as this all works inland and still kind of sprawl. The winds will weaken, of course, tomorrow, but still some gusts upwards of 40, 50 miles per hour even tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock as that lifts up toward Tennessee. So here's that spot here. Now I'm watching the rain that we've been seeing over toward Antigua and Barbuda. A lot going on. So let's get into that. This here is Helene. Here we are in Jamaica, and we've had more downpours for us in Jamaica because the feeder bands just kind of feed into this across the Cayman Islands, Cuba, and Jamaica, working into Helene. It's amazing how big of an influence one system can have. I've been watching our scattered showers and storms with our disturbance into the the eastern Caribbean. This here is John, and that on the corner of your screen, that is newly formed Isaac. So yeah, that looks like the peak of hurricane season right there, no doubt. On the European model, everything on track, showing things similar to the American model. Again, moving inland as we work our way into tonight. Watching John here just with a ton of rain, and then eventually John will try to diminish, but we've got a huge spot of rain here. This is tomorrow, a ton of rain and wind up here. And then look how unsettled we are across the Caribbean. This area is not organized, but scattered areas of rain. We've seen it from Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, all the way back through Jamaica. We've been very unsettled. And even with this up there tomorrow, with Helene up toward Tennessee and Kentucky, still some of those far-stretching feeder bands could bring us rain and storms right through the Bahamas at times, even down through the Cayman Islands. Now, I want to do something here. This is on Saturday, but let's go way out in time. I want to really look ahead. Now, Saturday, we're still going to get some of those scattered showers and storms, right? Scattered showers and storms through here. Here are the remnants, kind of leftovers of Helene. So that's the picture, Gulf and Caribbean this weekend, no name system, but let's zoom way out in time here. I want to start to look ahead. There are some signs there could be a system. Now, please note that this is down the road and going to change. This here is October 5th. So we're pretty well out in time here, right? But by October 5th, so we're looking here over a week from now, there could be a system approaching the Eastern Caribbean. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. I'll let you know what I know and what I don't know. Maybe it curves away, maybe it doesn't develop. But just that early heads up that we are in a very busy time in the hurricane season. So watching plenty out there, but there could be a new system approaching the Caribbean as we get deeper into the first week of October, giving you that heads up first here. Now, as far as the categories go, it looks like Helene will roll in with winds of around 120 miles per hour. That would make it a Category 3. It could be a Category 4, most likely a Category 3, but either way, 3 and higher, that is a major hurricane. Now, why so active this time of year? Well, the water temperatures have warmed all summer long. It is so warm out there in the water, and once the environmental conditions above our head get okay or get conducive for development, things start to pop up, and that's what we've been seeing. And this is the busiest time of the hurricane season, August, September, and October. That's why I'm starting to look ahead into October. 84% of all named systems in the Atlantic Basin, so the Atlantic Ocean, Gulf of Mexico, and the Caribbean, 84% of them form in just those 3 months. But that includes October, and we're about to roll into October, and there are some signs at least early in October it is going to be busy out there. Not to say we're going to get something definitely, but just a lot of areas I will be tracking for you. Now, there's the swath of rain, upwards of 6, 7, 8 inches of rain plus. Could see a foot of rain, of course, where this lifts up to the north, but still those feeder bands bringing some downpours, even all the way down toward Cuba. Just a huge influence with Helene. Now, we've been watching these spots here. There's been some flooding in parts of Nicaragua, El Salvador, Guatemala, even inland Honduras and Costa Rica and Panama too. We're going to still see very active weather, not for all of us, not as much in Belize, but scattered areas of rain and storms for a 3-day total could top 100 millimeters of rain or 4 inches of rain. And then this with Hurricane John again, still dumping upwards of 12 to maybe 20 inches of rain in some locations on top of what they already have. Southern Mexico, we're thinking of you with just how bad it has been with John. It moved inland, came back, redeveloped, now it's kind of moving back. So we get a look at the Eastern Caribbean. Now, I've been mentioning Antigua, Barbuda, Anguilla, St. Kitts, Nevis, Dominica, Montserrat. We've been seeing over toward Statia, St. Martin, we've been seeing areas of rain and storms today, right? If you get some rain today, we could get 50 millimeters of rain or 2 inches of rain. Not as much St. Lucia, Barbados south, a little bit more to the north, not an organized area that may even bring some spotty showers to Puerto Rico and the U.S. and British Virgin Islands. So now we are getting down the list. Helene, of course, that's going to make that big landfall later today. And then Isaac, which did develop, and then what looks to be Joyce off the coast of Africa. Now, let's start to look ahead here. So let me start here. Here's John. There's Helene. Scattered areas of rain kind of influencing our weather. Here are the areas of rain and storms we've been seeing over toward Martinique. We'll see some rain and storms too. Now, jumping over to John, which I just showed you, it's going to make another landfall, and then kind of this, the first time it kind of went this way. This time it's going to work its way off to the west, but very slowly. So next couple days, just more rain as we get into the southern end of Mexico. So let's start here, and then I want to look long term with the possibility of a new system. Here are those feeder bands stretching in. Here are the rain and storms, especially northeastern Caribbean. We're going to see some rain even trying to sneak in. We'll see if it holds together over toward St. Croix, St. Thomas, Tortola. We'll see if some of that rain starts to move in. This here is as we work our way into our Friday. Here are those pockets of rain I mentioned for Central America that could lead to some additional flooding. And there's that unsettled weather tomorrow that will kind of give us some scattered showers, British U.S. Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, and try to clip us by in parts of the Dominican Republic. May catch a shower too in the ABC Islands, Aruba, Curacao, and Bonaire. And then this here is on Saturday, still the rain over toward parts of Mexico. And then as we work our way into Saturday, this little disturbance will give us a few showers and storms, Hispaniola. And once again, we're going to stay active across Jamaica. We may get more thunderstorms as we work our way into the weekend as this impulse starts to move across. So there's Isaac. This is what could become Joyce. So watching that, but there's more stuff back behind it. Now, here's Isaac. So here's Newfoundland. It's moving away. So you get over toward Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, New Brunswick here. Isaac will move away, and then eventually it'll bring some gustier winds, potentially as you get over toward Portugal and Spain. Now, let's start to go long-term here. So here's Dominica, Barbados, St. Lucia, get over toward Trinidad, St. Vincent the Grenadines, Grenada. Now, watching this spot here, we'll see if that briefly becomes Joyce. Now, the early call is, and what I've been seeing the whole time with this one is that would make a curl and start to work away. So this here is by the upcoming weekend. You see the clock there. This here is by Sunday, and you see it kind of curling to the north. So here we are in Antigua and Barbuda. This one stays away, but there's so much action out here. The atmosphere is a lot of moisture above our heads, so it is possible that something else is going to try to develop. The beginning of this video, I showed you the European model showed something approaching the Eastern Caribbean by the time we get into the first week of October. And the American model is showing the same thing. Now, I'm using caution that this is down the road some. This is over a week from now. So this is October 5th. Saturday, October 5th, not this Saturday, the next Saturday, and you can see here yet again another system. The European model does want to bring this close to the Eastern Caribbean. We'll see what the American model wants to do, and I'm just going to be checking the environment. But point being now, there are signs that something could be approaching us in the Eastern Caribbean deeper into the first week of October. Now, of course, the seas are huge. Appalachia Bay, we're looking at a storm surge of over 12 feet in some spots, and that's why I mentioned the word historic too. They haven't seen that on record in some spots there. But the seas across the Caribbean, other than a bump here or there, not too bad in the Caribbean. This here is by the time we get into Saturday, and finally things will settle Saturday in the Gulf of Mexico, and then we'll be watching this stuff out here. You see the seas building a bit here by Sunday in the open Atlantic water, Sunday into next week as we watch what could become Joyce, and then another area back behind that. So watching all of this rain here, here is Helene once again on track for that landfall. There's John, and you can see nothing's really coming at the Atlantic region of Canada. What is Isaac will be moving away and getting out of the picture. These fronts are moving in, so that keeps Isaac away from the Atlantic region of Canada. All of this rain in here, of course, that flooding rain, that's going to be with the leftovers here Saturday. The leftovers of Helene just kind of winding its way down right there as we work our way into Saturday afternoon. So yeah, once again, scattered areas of rain. Keep me posted in the comments across Jamaica, and we'll do that again in the Cayman Islands. It's some of those feeder bands stretching all the way into Helene. And we're going to stay active. Trinidad and Tobago, 50-60% chance of scattered showers and storms. Barbados, a 50% chance. We have that disturbance moving through the Eastern Caribbean. More in the Northeastern Caribbean, but also in the Southeastern Caribbean. St. Lucia, chance of some showers and storms, 50% chance. 50% chance over the next 2 days in Grenada. Rain chance about 60%, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And we're looking at about a 50% chance through Martinique. Could get a couple thunderstorms too. Martinique, Dominica, watching out for the downpours. Please be mindful of some lightning. We're going to be very active today in Guadeloupe. We're going to be very active today, Antigua and Barbuda. We've already had that rain nearby. Rain chance stays elevated the next couple days. St. Kitts and Nevis and Montserrat. And once again, as we get into Anguilla and St. Bart's, 50-60% chance chance of some rain. Scattered areas of rain, a little more widespread deeper into the day today across St. Martin, Ceiba, and Statia. And as that impulse moves across, scattered areas of rain and storms for Puerto Rico. And you see it picking up some U.S. and British Virgin Islands tomorrow and Saturday, about a 40 to 50% chance of some scattered showers and storms. Bahamas, we may see a few showers in our northern zones on the outer fringes rotating around with Helene back to the west. Turks and Caicos, a 30% chance. And in the Dominican Republic, up to a 40% chance Friday into the weekend with that impulse moving by the Eastern Caribbean. Not as much in Haiti. Tomorrow and Saturday, a pop-up storm, very straight chance of a storm, about a 30% chance. Belize, we're looking at a 30 to 40% chance over the next 3 days. But Aruba, Curacao, and Bonaire, we may eventually get a few showers. Let me know in the comments if you do. Over the next few days, we do have a chance of getting some showers. Guyana, about a 20 to 30% chance. Mainly dry still in that dry pattern in Suriname. Rain chance stays on the higher side in Cuba with those feeder bands with Helene to the north, especially western Cuba. Costa Rica, Panama, watching out for some pockets of flooding. Nicaragua, 50 to 60% chance, 30 to 40% chance over the next 2 days in Honduras. Rain chance still on the elevated side right around Mexico City, still on the elevated side across the Yucatan, scattered areas of rain and storms. 30 to 40% chance in northern Colombia, 30 to 40% chance in northern Venezuela, and the rain chance at about 20 to 30% as we work our way into Bermuda. So it's system after system out there right now. Powerful Helene making landfall as we get into early tonight. Scattered storms with that disturbance in the Caribbean. Isaac in the North Atlantic, and watching for new systems, a new one that could come off the coast of Africa, plus John out there near Mexico. So thank you for your trust as we go through the hurricane season, watching anything. If anything comes at us in the Caribbean, I will monitor that, of course, carefully, and I'll let you know, of course, first. Thank you for your trust. Have a good rest of your day.